in the grand scheme of getting shit together, that was probably the shortest amount of time it's ever taken me. All right. I think we are adjusted. So 3, 2, 1.
Cheers.
Cheers and welcome back.
Welcome to the Bad Kitty Podcast.
Okay, we're going to start over.
I got choked up. Swallow first.
All right, let's start with this. Welcome back to the Bad Kitty Podcast with Amy and Jen.
Cheers.
Cheers.
That is some good kitty water.
Good kitty water. I'm your host, Jen.
I'm Amy.
She's also your host. We are co-hosts, as they say.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what they say. So anyway, if you've never found the Bad Kitty Podcast before, welcome. We think you should go back and start from the beginning, but whatever you do, you boo. We are excited to come back for this episode and talk to you about all kinds of fun things. We have some fun things planned.
We have our happy and chappy as we always do. Well, mostly do. Sometimes we forget. Yeah.
We do have happy or chappy, and we do sometimes forget, and we don't care because we're just winging it. I'm wearing Amy's sweater. I feel like a granny.
It's lovely on you.
Every time I look in the mirror, I think I'm a granny, but we're going to the gym after this, and I was feeling a little chilly.
Yeah, and we turned on the fan. So
Amy turned on the fan. So, instead of expecting my friend to be hot, I just asked for a sweater.
But I am hot.
Oh, she's hot. She's hot. And I'm so glad you're back, by the way. I missed you the whole time you were gone.
A long week.
It was a very long week for me. I don't know about you, but for me it was.
It's good to be home.
Good to be home. Mm-hmm. Yep. And that's something we'll talk about a little later. So we are going to talk to you again about our happy or chappy. And that's where we talk about what's making us happy or what's chapping our ass. And we're going to talk about finding joy. And today's conversation is finding joy when you shit yourself.
What?
Seriously, literally and metaphorically.
Right.
So we're going to talk to you about that, and then we'll wrap it up. Wrap it up. We're going to wrap it up, and that's it. So strap in, everybody. It's time for a fun episode of the Bad Kitty Podcast. So that was a great intro. So we'll be able to cut it out, and then
play some music.
Yeah, I'll play a little. And it's now time for happy or chappy. So, Amy, would you like to go first or would you like me to go first?
I got to go first because mine's not written on the board and I'll forget it.
Okay, you go first.
Because when you wrote yours, I'm like, I better remember it.
Yes.
Okay, so I am happy this week.
Yay.
Yeah, I spent a wonderful visit out in Colorado with a dear friend of mine and her family and my new little bro, Kev. So it was great. I enjoyed it, visiting with them and catching up. And I went kayaking in the mountains.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, in the lake in the mountains.
Wow.
But wow, I have pictures to show you. But I'm happy because after journeying away, as most of you would agree, it's always good to come home. Because, you get in with your puppies and you sit on the couch watching your shows and you're just like, I love it. I love my life. So it's always good to be home. And when you venture out and see great things and great people and you're like, I feel good being home.
Yeah. I think something I've heard recently is if you want to hate the world, watch the news. And if you want to love the world, travel.
Certainly. Then you can interact and meet the great people out there because there's still so many great people.
And it's a great way to see that other people aren't, hating us because they ain't us. Yeah. They're living good lives too. But I agree, travel is such a privilege and a great advantage, but it's even more of an advantage to be someone who loves to come home.
Yes. And I've always felt that way. Quite often I would try to get out of going on a trip and be like, do we really have to go, Matt? And he's like, just get in the car. And then I get there and I'm like, it's time. Can we just shorten this up a bit? Can I fly home? Because the dogs are sad. So,
well, I told you when our friendship was just getting started that I am a leaver from way back. Like I'm a quitter.
I am a quitter.
Quitter from way back. If this isn't right for me, I'm going to wind up leaving.
I've always said I'm a quitter from way back.
Quitter from way back.
Up top. For the quitters.
That's how we know we are meant to be. Mm-hmm. It is meant to be.
That's my other part. I'm not the best at this.
Me either. So. But yeah, I was thinking about a trip one time that Brian and I took to Nashville, Tennessee at New Year's Eve. And we got down there, a day or two before New Year's Eve. And New Year's Eve came and we had kind of done what we wanted to do in Nashville. And we said, hey, you want to go home? I said, well, I want to go home, but I don't want to waste the money on the hotel room. So we decided that if we could get a refund on the night, we would go. And we got the refund and we went home.
Yes.
And we were so happy. And we didn't tell anybody.
Yeah, then it was quiet time at home.
It was quiet time at home. And I think that it is a privilege to travel And it's such a gift to be someone who looks forward to being home.
Yeah. And it ranks up there with canceled plans.
It does. Canceled plans are a damn delight.
We love it. We get our
do.
pajamas on and we're like, see ya. I'm going home.
It's like, oh, I definitely wanted to see you. And also, I love canceled plans.
Right. So we'll catch up another day.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. That's you and me. Yeah. I wonder if it's everybody. Is it everybody?
I don't know.
I don't know either. You all will have to let us know in the comments.
A lot of people in my circle, a lot of my friends would agree with us.
Yeah. So you all let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
Do you like canceled plans?
And shortened up trips.
Shortened up trips and coming home. Is that a big draw for you?
Yeah.
So, Amy, I'm so glad that you had a wonderful week with your good friends and got to see them. But I'm even happier that you're back home. I missed you.
You're sweet. Thanks, sis. I'm glad to be home.
Yeah, you're the jelly to my peanut butter, and I'm glad you're home.
I do feel like you're jelly sometimes. That's why I started the gym.
Jelly.
That's why we go to the gym.
That's why we go to the gym. Who cares? We go to the gym to stay strong, not because we got belly jelly.
Well,
who cares?
I guarantee you it ain't going nowhere.
I got belly jelly, and I go to the gym to stay strong. Because let me tell you something. I don't want anybody looking at me. Like, I want no people looking at me. I want to look at me. And then if you want to tell me my lipstick is awesome or something along those lines, fine. But like, I want nobody looking at me.
Okay. All right.
That's for sure.
We just want to stay upright. Now, what is your happy chappy?
My happy or chappy is a happy, and it's a doozy. So if you're following along, I've got a major update for you. My grandson is free and safe, and he's happy. He won his case, and my son, his dad, voluntarily terminated his parental rights and allowed a step-parent adoption, and that was completed. It's huge. And so my son voluntarily terminated his rights and signed the papers for a step-parent adoption, and my grandson now has been adopted by his stepfather, and his family moved to California. And I've talked to him multiple times since they moved, and I'm already planning a trip to go out in a couple of months. And I'm so grateful and relieved and happy that he is safe and my son's rights are terminated, which puts all of the power in Oliver's hands because he can decide if he wants to interact with his dad when he's an adult, which is what he said he wanted. He said, I don't want to have to see him until I'm an adult.
That's so wise. I can't get over how wise Oliver is.
I can't either. And I'm so excited that the week before he moved, I actually saw him playing and maybe even regressing into childhood a bit to where he was just
his creek time and the pool time. He was just being a kid.
He was being a kid, and he didn't bring up big, huge topics with me like he usually does. His mind is working on really big issues of our time, and it's just who he is. And I know that he likes to please me by talking about really deep topics because I'm a deep topic kind of person. But I really saw him relax. And I was able to relax, and we're both just relieved that he's safe.
And you were just gelling in your house with him, and he was just running around having a great time. So you didn't have to micromanage. You didn't have to do a whole lot. You just let him be, and he interacted with you the way he wanted to.
Yeah, it was a really safe relationship, and I know it's because I've been present and just keep showing up. But also, I'm a more evolved person than I was when he was born. He'll be 12 in December, and gosh, in 2014, it was a whole different world then, and I was a much different person then. So I'm grateful for all of the growth that I've had over this time, whether it was chosen or life induced, because now I'm in a place where I knew that I could just step back and let Oliver enjoy his time and not really interject much. And he did.
It was great to see.
It was great to see. And they had adventures and went out to find a creek and swam in the pool, and they swam until late at night in the rain, and they had a Chinese buffet and a sandwich bar and just all kinds of things that they did.
Stuff. They plucked leeches off of themselves.
They've plucked leeches. I took them to a community pool, and we dove off the diving board and went down water slides, and I did all of it. I did all of it too. And I just, I really enjoyed myself without thinking too much about how my body looked in the space or how I felt about being there. I just really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and that pool in itself was quite a journey for you to go and just be there and enjoy it because you've had previous experience in that pool. Yeah. So I'm very proud of you. for
Thank
doing
you.
that.
The O'Fallon pool, it lives large in my life because I went there as a tween, 11, 12, and my sister and I were dropped off there for the day when my mom would work. And so we would be there for, several hours alone. And adult men seduced or they what's the word? I don't even know, but adult men tried to groom us, I suppose. And my sister, they would buy ice cream and candy and she would take it. And I would be like, don't go around them. And so I was the problem and I wasn't her boss. So she didn't want me telling her what to do. And, molestation happened there. Years later, I took my own children there and I wasn't awake. I was still just existing and I wasn't dealing with what had happened to me. I was just trying to be a good mom and work and take care of my family and a good wife and all those things. And so I didn't really deal with it. Well, this time I went back to that pool and I was in my full power.
You conquered it.
I conquered it. And there were a couple of older guys there by themselves and they were just sitting in the pool near where kids were playing. And I gave them looks.
The stink eye.
The matriarchal, powerful stare.
Right. The I see
yes,
you.
I let them know I see you. And I will embarrass you and I will hurt you. Don't fuck around because you'll find out. And I am the person I needed when I was a child. I also looked around and saw a few other women doing the same thing I was doing.
Good. See? That's awesome.
I recognized the other women and what we were doing there. And no one said anything. We just did. And I had a great time. I went down the water slide. I went off the diving board. I swam. I walked around. But I was very aware of who was out of place.
Right. You had eyes for the environment as opposed to just going and doing you.
I had such a great time. My happy is spending that time with Oliver. It's that he is safe from the abuse that he experienced and that I was able to enjoy lots of kids, my other grandkids, my bonus grandkids and neighbor kids, and just really enjoy being Grammy.
And your nephews came over.
My nephews came over. Thank you for reminding me of that. I got to spend so much time. My nephews came over and one of them spent the night and just a really great cathartic experience. And I have no sadness over Oliver moving to California.
The day that he left or the next day, I think it was the day he left, you just were so excited for him and happy. The next day you started to feel a little bit of it, but we talked through it and I think you bounced back.
Yeah. I mean, the first day I was a little bit like euphoric about it. And I know now that that's normal for my brain. I get really excited. And at one point I thought, is this mania? But it isn't. It's euphoria. And then I know that the next day or two, I'm probably going to feel a dip. And I did because Oliver is not going to live here anymore. But then the next day came and I don't feel that way anymore. But what I'm committed to is feeling my feelings, sitting in them and not delaying them. If I can't feel something right now because, it's just not the time to process this, I make a commitment to myself that I will process it later, and I do.
That's good.
And I just really feel like because of that, I'm able to live in the moment and enjoy my life.
Well, I am super happy to go out to California with you.
I know. I'm so excited.
I have the brown grass fear out in California where you're like, this place is going to start up on fire any second now. When you're driving around, you see all the brown. But I am willing to shove that down and get on an airplane and go to California.
Well, we're just going to go to California and whatever happens, happens because, it's climate change and we're all going to die somehow. So we might as well just go and have a good time.
And because of that stress, sometimes that brings us to the next topic.
So that was Happy or Chappy. And someday we're going to have a little jingle about Happy or Chappy. But for now, it's like Happy or Chappy.
The dancing frog.
Happy or Chappy. Ooh, little dancing frog. Why not cats? I don't know. Anyway.
Cats like frogs.
Cats like frogs. So, we really don't try very hard on this podcast.
We don't. We just show up.
And we have another one in the can that I've been editing and I'm like, it's not good enough. We probably shouldn't. Nope. I'm going to be releasing that one too. We're going to release it all because we aren't doing this for money. We're doing this for fun and maybe to teach you people something.
It's also documenting our friendship.
It's documenting our friendship.
I mean, this is a treasure to have.
It is. This will be something our grandchildren can look back on and know us.
Here, little honey, in your little car seat, I want you to watch Gamma 20 years ago.
Do you know what's funny? They're never going to do that.
Shoot.
So I hear people say, like, I'm going to save this for my grandkids. And
they don't care.
No one wants our shit. And that's including our podcast. But you know what? We don't care because we're having a really good time. Yeah. And honestly, for the most part, it's just therapy for me.
It is. And it's fine because I enjoy doing it. I enjoy being in this space. And talking with my pal.
Thank you, Amy Kins. Every now and then I ask her, is it okay that I mostly talk and you mostly chime in?
I don't have all those words, so it's probably best.
Yeah, one thing I have always had is a lot of words. Yep.
And I'm a good listener.
Good. Then we're perfect. We're a perfect match. So the topic of the day is finding joy when you shit yourself, and Amy thinks you might need a seatbelt.
Yeah. Or a diaper. I don't know. One or the other.
Oh, a diaper. So, I don't know about all of you, but I occasionally shit myself. Words you never thought you'd say on the internet.
Right. And remember your sister when you told her this one story and she said, never tell that story again. So here is Jen on national broadcast.
What do they say? I'm out here on Beyonce's internet.
I don't even know that.
What they say is I'm out here on Al Gore's internet talking about the times I shit my pants.
And
honestly,
more recently,
they are too numerous to name.
Right. But the more recent one really taught you the lesson you needed to learn, because it was, I wasn't going to go. And then I went to help somebody and I was smacked down and said, go back home.
They wanted me to go to rehab, but I said, no.
That's right. So you had to turn your car around.
Yes. So what had happened was I needed to stay home and recuperate my system after Oliver left on a jet airplane. I'm leaving on a jet plane.
Karaoke microphone.
I don't know when I'll be back again, babe. I hate to go. Anyway, Oliver flew away on a jet plane and, my body was adjusting to it. I was feeling my feelings. And instead of staying home like I said I was going to do, I said to my sister, yes, I will come help you in your classroom. I want to. She didn't ask me, by the way. I just said, would you like me to come help you?
It's a thing you've done in the past.
And she said, you said you needed to stay home, but yes, I always want you to come help me. And so I went and I got too far from home to be able to turn around and come back, and not far enough from home to where I could easily access a bathroom. And it became very clear that I was going to shit myself. And so I had to figure out what to do. And so I immediately start looking at exits and, what bathrooms are close by to the exits. But I got to tell you, when you have to get off at Maryville or Collinsville, there's no good bathroom juxtaposition to that exit. So my brain is doing calculus without my full awareness that I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it home. I can't make it to a bathroom. Not only am I not going to be able to go help my sister in her classroom, like I'm going to have to make a U-turn and go home and deal with the problem. I also need to drive safely and try not to, ruin my car. Also, let me just tell you, I was wearing my brand new compression clothing that I just bought that is helping me with my autoimmune and other conditions. So I'm wearing these nice compression pants and I'm thinking, is this my real life? Like, am I actually going to do this and ruin these clothes? Well, no, I'm not going to do that because I am a shit your pants pro.
I didn't know that was a category.
Well, I am a pro. And so I am going to talk about this because I cannot be the only one. Certainly there is someone listening. The 50 or so people who listen to this podcast, certainly one of you is like me. So I'm going to tell you that I have had a long life since my probably 30s, early 30s of having emergency
evacuation.
And I tell you, the sheer success that I feel when I make it to the bathroom, there is no Olympian who has felt more proud
Oh my God.
when I get there and it's like, yes, I made it. But I cannot tell you how many walks have resulted in me having to shit in the bushes. I have been driving down the road with someone else and said, you have to pull over and let me over. And I'm shitting in a ditch. This one time we were somewhere in the country. I don't know. There was a farm stand at the corner and these two men pulled up, like seeing if they could help us, like old farmer men. And then they saw that I was crouched down and they took off. So most recently I had to go to the bathroom. I knew I wasn't going to make it. And so all of a sudden I'm starting to do calculus in my brain. And so that's what I want to talk to you about today.
The calculus.
The calculus. So my brain goes through a process that I have named the IRISN. And I use this process in corporate America and it's being used all over the place. So I'm going to tell you about it today. Are you ready, Amy?
I believe so.
It's the IRISN. The first I is for issue. My issue was that I had to shit and I was not going to make it to a bathroom. And then the R in IRISN is root cause. The root cause of this is multifold, one of which is that I have a very sensitive digestive tract. But the other root cause is that I left home when I said I needed to stay home and rest.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah. And so the next I is impact. The impact of that was that I was facing a catastrophe and I wasn't going to be able to go anyway. And I was going to have to take care of a lot of problems. And so I had to come up with a solution. And the solution I came up with in this problem was not to shit in my pants. So I turned my car on auto drive and I took off my shoes and I removed my compression pants and I removed my underwear and I reached in the back and got the Aldi bag that I knew was right there because as luck would have it, we had our bag of Aldi bags right there. And so I felt through the bags and perused which would be the most, advantageous. I selected the appropriate one. This is my solutioning, right? And so, I've created this solution where I'm going to make this happen. And so the next steps were to execute that action, which I did. And then I had to drive home, and I'm going to just pause for a moment and you all
just take a breath,
take a visual, take a breather. I had 20 minutes left to drive home.
Okay.
And there was no mess.
Did you open a window?
Oh, yeah.
Or four?
By the way, it was raining. So that's fun. And everything was contained, but I was greatly impacted by the situation. I was not impacted at all.
Two different meanings.
The impact, I was so impacted by this. And the situation I was sitting in was quite uncomfortable. And so as I drove these 20 minutes, I had time to contemplate my life.
Well, sure, like anyone would.
And so one might begin to criticize oneself, like, how did I do this again?
Not I. I believe that's resourcefulness. And thank goodness for self-driving cars now. So,
I can drive with my knee. I'm a driver of the 80s.
That would have been advised with.
Listen, all I had to be doing was taking things off, but I digress. Listen. So now I'm driving and thinking about my life. And I'm like, how have I come to this place again? And the answer truly was that I knew I needed to stay home, but instead I decided to help someone else. I wanted to go. I wanted to see my sister. I love my sister. I wanted to be in her classroom. I love her classroom. But I needed to stay home and take care of myself.
It's a problem. You and I are goers and doers. We just love to go and do.
Yeah.
And even when we know and the universe tried to tell us, this is not your day for that, you didn't listen. And you went and did because that's our nature. And the universe smacked your ass down.
The universe said, you shit yourself. And so I get home and,
I'm wondering how you got out of the car there.
I back the car in. It's raining. Back the car toward the garage.
Yes, I know that garage is pretty full.
The garage is very full, and it was too full for me to feel comfortable backing up into it. Even though I have the cameras, I just didn't feel comfortable.
Do you mean to tell me this is on tape somewhere? Do you have a copy of this? Backing up and getting out. Does this exist in the world, Jen?
Wait a minute. Let me think. No.
Okay, no copy.
There's no camera there.
I didn't want to.
First of all, we don't tape it.
Right. We don't save the footage.
So let me back up. Even though I have a backup camera on my car, I didn't feel comfortable backing in. Fortunately, none of our ADT cameras are pointing in that area.
Thank God. We don't want that out in the interwebs.
And so then I have to get out of my car. Right. And so I have to take the Aldi bag with me.
Well, yes.
But you must know that you can't hover over the Aldi bag. So it's not as if you pack your groceries into the bag or anything.
Well,
and
you did, but they were previously used groceries.
So the thing is, you have to take it with you. And so I did. And I looked in the car and there was literally nothing in the car. And
good job, Jen.
I, see my shoes were off, my pants were off, everything. And so I'm just like, what do I do? And so I left it there and I decided the first thing to do was to take care of myself. So just pausing there, the first thing wasn't to take care of the mess or the car or whatever. It was to take care of myself. And so I took myself into the house and I took care of myself. And I know how to take care of myself in those situations because I've been doing it for 20 years. And I took care of myself first. And that is a lesson that I needed to learn that day because, my sister always wants to see me, but she wasn't waiting for me to show up to help her. I should have taken care of myself. Instead, I went out, and then when my body had to function in the way that bodies function, I was then able to take care of myself by reaching for tools that I needed, pulling those tools out, utilizing those tools effectively, and then going home and executing the next steps of taking care of myself. And so, what I hope that you hear from this is that I do actually literally shit myself and I figuratively shit myself. And the solution for both is the same. It's literally to understand the IRISN, the issue, the root cause, the impact, the solution, and the next steps. No matter what your issue is, no matter how you have shit yourself, the solution is to look at the IRISN. What is the issue? What is the root cause? What is the impact? What's the solution? And what are the next steps?
Nice. Very good. And I'm glad that you were able to take care of yourself in this challenging situation.
It was very challenging. And I texted my husband during that time, and he suggested that I go back outside and roll the windows down in the car to prevent any odor. And I took care of myself again by telling him to shut up.
Nice.
That I didn't need any helpful tips at this time because I am an expert at handling this problem.
Yes.
And the first thing I needed to do, though, truly, that's really kind of a joke, but what I really needed to do was to take care of myself, because sitting in that situation, that literal shitty situation, was so demoralizing, to be honest. It was like, am I really in this situation again? Am I really looking at this mess that I've made? And if you think about your life, figuratively, if you take the time to look at the mess that you've made, there might be some, self deprecation. There might be some blame and shame and embarrassment, humiliation. You may have, literally made a mess that you are sitting in misery.
Right.
No matter what, the answer is to do IRISN.
Right. And then find your solution in the next step.
Yeah. And that's what I have done with my entire life. I taught that in corporate America, IRISN. In fact, I was a hard ass boss. You might be surprised to know that, but you were not allowed to bring a problem to me if you hadn't gone through the IRISN first.
Right. I remember you telling me that. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a good boss.
Yep.
You need leadership. You don't
Yep.
want someone going, I don't know what to do.
Well, that's the kind of boss I was, because I wanted to be the boss I needed when I was coming up in my career, not the bosses I had. I had mean girl bosses, and I had sexually harassing bosses, and I had competitive bosses, and I had scattered bosses. And, certainly I could be many of those things, but what I wanted to be was a boss that helps people achieve more than I myself have achieved.
That's a good boss.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to be. And that's what I was. And the IRISN was a requirement. Now, don't let me come off too strong and tough. They could come in and vent to me. That was no problem. And we would go on walk and talks, and, we would have one-on-ones and walk and talk around the parking lot. But when you were coming to me with a problem, you had to do an IRISN first. And sometimes that got really hard. There were a couple of people who really could not get the concept for a while, because the issue is a very short statement. I shit myself. That's the issue. That's the issue. The issue is I shit myself. Many times people try to put the impact in there. I shit myself and now I have to turn around and drive home. But that is not the issue. That's the impact. And if you can really learn to pare your life down to understanding what is the issue and really honing in on that, you can change your life. But the whole time that you're combining the issue and the impact, I shit myself, I couldn't go see my sister, I had to drive perhaps unsafely, I had to drive home sitting in a mess, I had to get home and take care of that entire problem. All of those things, if I deal with the impact while I'm trying to understand the issue, I will be confused about what problem I'm trying to solve.
Wow. It is that's very layered, and we'll call myself a lay person, I never had those kind of experiences because I didn't work out in the world too
Right.
much. So yeah, that's all new to me.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I think it applies to everything.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
anytime you're dealing with a problem in your life and you have shit yourself, you can step back from the problem and think, what is the issue here? You know, you and I have talked about kids riding electric scooters in your neighborhood. And so you might say, the issue is that the kids are riding electric bikes in this neighborhood and I almost hit them at night and it scares me and upsets me because I love children. Well, the issue really is that you're afraid to hit the kids on their e-bikes.
Not anymore.
Or the issue is kids are not following state laws regarding e-bikes.
And let's go back to the root of it. It's the parents, not, I would say wrangle, but I've been yelled at for using that word. Not giving their children the guidelines and the rules regarding these things and advice to stay out of the street willy-nilly. So that's, I would assume, the root of the problem.
The root cause is the parents. And so the impact then is, less safety for the kids,
fear for the
more fear for the driver
every time.
And so the solution could be reporting them.
It may come down to that because the neighborhood page was not having it.
Right.
They were
And so then,
me.
you have next steps. And one of the things could be that you decide you're always going to drive with your brights on when you come into your neighborhood, period.
Oh, that's genius. I love that.
You could just say, well, you know what? I'm always going to drive with my brights on because I can't solve the actual issue.
Right. And they are so hard to see at night. They say, oh, you didn't see them all lit up? I'm sorry, a little glow bracelet doesn't count.
No. And so your issue is very clear, but, when you work through the IRISN with that, it allows you to boil the problem down to the base problem. And then when you think about the root cause, you can decide if your action will actually affect the outcome. So if you're mad at the kids, but the root cause is the parents, then what's the point in scowling at kids?
Right. And I generally don't.
I do.
Yeah, I'm like, just move over.
Well, I did. I pulled into your neighborhood and looked at a kid and was like, I almost hit you. But when I'm going through it and I think about it, now there could be a benefit in letting the kids know, like, you almost got hit. But really, this exercise is just to say that anything in your life, anything that you're having an issue with, you're sitting in your own shit because of something, just figure out, like, what is the IRISN? And I'm going to say it for you again. So get your pens ready. I is issue. What is the issue? And this should be a very short statement that describes the actual problem without talking about the impact. The issue is this short problem. The root cause is obvious. What is causing this problem? And you may not always know. You might have to put to be determined, but put your best guess. And then impact. How is this actually impacting you or the world? Or what is the impact of this problem? What are the solutions? Can you come up with solutions? And sometimes people would come to me and say, I don't know what the solution is. Okay, put TBD. Or if you have an idea, put down what your idea is and then listing the next steps. The person who had the most trouble with the IRISN did eventually get it. And she still works at that company and she has been promoted twice. And before that, she did not understand how to separate out these things. And I believe this tool lets you assess someone's critical thinking skills.
Sure. Did you get to the end?
Next steps are going in and taking care of myself. It was, taking care of my problem, executing the solution. But next steps can also be changing my behavior. It's, really realizing that I need to listen to myself and that I have relationships with people that even if they're disappointed, they will understand that I needed to take care of myself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I get that because, sometimes you're just like, I just can't get up today and get moving. And I'm like, Jen, there's nothing here that's written in stone.
Yeah.
We can always do this a different day.
And I appreciate that. I mean, as much as I like canceled plans, I don't like disappointing people, but I also don't like disappointing me.
Right.
I wanted to go see my sister.
Right. Pushing yourself into a situation that may not work out.
Right. I literally shit myself.
Right.
And so I have to listen to my body even when I want to go do the thing.
Right.
And it's hard because I don't feel sick every day and I don't feel unable to do things most days. And so it's just not normal. And when I do feel well, I want to do everything.
Yes,
and
I've seen it.
Yeah. So I'm going to go to a couple of specialists this fall and I'm going to file a disability claim because at my age, you only have to prove that you can't do the work you've always done. And I've always been a big decision maker and a leader of people. And I really can't do that anymore and be consistent. So, yep. So I'm going to file for disability and see how that goes. And anyway, back to the point here of finding joy when you shit yourself. I hope that you have heard that, first of all, I am really good in a crisis, because let me tell you, when you're driving on the road and you're about to shit yourself, you are in a crisis.
You are.
Yep. So
what's the joy?
the joy is trusting myself. Thank you for asking that question.
Because it always comes back to finding joy on this podcast.
So what is my joy?
I think learning that you have to listen to yourself. So there's joy in being powerful enough to say, no, I'm not good enough today to do this. My body is telling me no. So there's joy just in recognizing that. Then maybe the fact that you rescued yourself. So you can count on yourself.
I think that's it, Amy. I think my joy in finding joy is that I know what to do. So
you've always said you are the best person for you.
Yeah.
You've always saved yourself. So in this moment, there's joy in knowing I know how to handle this. I'm not going to freak out, go in the house and just lose my mind. I'm a strong enough person. So there's joy in being you and working through the problem.
There is. Thank you for helping me come to sort of putting a point on it. I am someone who overcomes hardship, and I am safe with me.
Right.
So in EMDR, my healing message has been I'm innocent. So I was parentified as a child, and many of us are. I definitely felt and continue to feel like I am responsible for making other people feel good, or for helping them solve their problems, for fixing their lives. And I'm trying to do this in healthier ways now, because I can help people, and I do help people. But making that part of my responsibility is not a healthy thing. It's more from trauma. And so knowing that I am safe with me is
that's
such
what you say all the time.
A huge message. I am safe with me. And so it's an interesting paradigm in friendship, because I am used to being enmeshed, codependent and enmeshed. And we have worked this through to where you have and allowed me space to process my own emotions, but also recognizing that you have your own trauma story, and being aware of what you might be going through helped me as well.
Right. So we are safe with our own selves is a huge joy in life, knowing that no matter what happens, I'm going to be okay because I have myself. And you've taught me that as well.
Thank you for saying that, because I actually am very excited about some trips coming up in my life. And a year to a year and a half ago, when I did some big trips, I had a lot of anxiety about
England.
Yeah, I felt unsafe in the world. I felt unsafe with what I saw happening in my country. And then a year ago, when we went to England, I had just reported my son to the authorities for sexually exploiting my grandson. And it was a devastating time in my life.
And it affected your gut.
My gut was sick throughout that entire country. I was so ill. My joints were sick. I had to go and buy braces for my joints. I had to buy Preparation H and Pepto-Bismol and Imodium for my belly. I was so ill. And I thought that getting out of the country would help me get my mind off of it. But that's not the kind of person I am. I need to sit and experience it. I know for sure that my body is going to tell me what it needs. And now I am doing a better job of listening to it. But I get reminders every now and then that I'm not doing a great job of listening to it. But I do have to tell you that I'm pretty badass being able to literally shit my pants, take off my clothing, cause no damage to the vehicle or my clothing. The only thing lost in this process was the Aldi bag.
Sure. And who needs it?
Who needs it?
By the way, you are badass. You made it home from Puerto Rico pretty darn ill.
I got so sick in January. We went on a cruise and I got very ill the last day of the cruise, terribly ill. And so I developed a system for how you should handle it when you're sick on a cruise. Would you like me to tell you?
Sure. I think the world needs to know.
Yes, that's what I was told. So I got food poisoning on a cruise, and I was in a regular stateroom with a regular sized bathroom. And for anyone who hasn't been on a cruise, those are smaller than a hall bathroom in a standard house. It's very small. The shower is a closet shower.
Don't drop the soap.
Don't drop the soap, and it's tricky. And so I would sit on the toilet to use the bathroom, and I would throw up into the metal trash can basin. When I finished throwing up, I would put the basin under the sink faucet, pour water in it until it was about halfway full, swish it around, and then pour it into the toilet where I was still using the bathroom, and then flush that all away. And then I would rinse it out again, and I would have a clean reservoir for vomiting as I was using the toilet.
So clever.
Yep. And I always did it every single time I got sick, I vomited, I would clean it out so that the next time I wasn't looking at my own sick.
And you had to be pretty weak. So
I was
for
so
you
weak
to do that, I would have been like, I'll just set it over here.
Oh, I didn't have anybody helping me. And so I couldn't just set it. Also, I knew it would make me feel worse. And so I'm always looking out for future Jen as well as taking care of present Jen. And so I have another thing to tell you though. When I feel sick like that, the thing that helps me is to be in water. And so I frequently will take a bath if I can. And so I did not have a bathtub available. So I got into the shower, which is not big enough to lay down in. It's very tiny. And I could not stand up. I was too weak. I don't want to sit on my knees because I'm too old for that shit. So I laid on my back with my feet in the air and let the water spray down on my belly.
And that helped
tremendously. Yeah. I could adjust the water with my toes. Guys, my back is down on the floor.
Dial.
My feet are up against the wall, and I could adjust the dial with my toes. And sometimes I needed it cooler because I would get hot. Sometimes I needed it warmer because I felt sick. Then I would crawl out and get back on the toilet and throw up in the trash basin.
Girl, it sounds like the cyclospora mess.
Listen, I have never been that sick in my life. And I was so proud of myself for taking care of me. I also felt a little sorry for myself that I didn't have anyone else taking care of me, but I wouldn't have wanted anyone to see me that way and to be subjected to being ill as well.
Sure, because we didn't know what it was.
No. And I always want someone taking care of me just because I feel like the care of me was neglected in my childhood and infancy. And so I admit I'm always wanting to feel like someone's taking care of me. And yet I know that I am taking care of me.
You are.
And I am the person who takes care of me the best. And the trick, the hack will be for me to let go of that angsty yearning for someone else to do that for me and just take full pleasure in knowing how good I am at taking care of me.
That you can do it. You're strong enough. And then you have helpers.
I do, because Amy said, you must go to medical. And I did. Then Brian took me to medical. Amy came and sat with me while Brian went and packed up the room. And then when I had to go to the airport, I had to lay on the ground in the dirty San Juan, Puerto Rico airport.
That's a pro.
But listen, they didn't have anywhere to lay down, and I was too sick to sit upright. Brian bought me a blanket, and I was laying my head on my backpack. When I got on the plane, I sat in the front seats. I dehydrated myself. I took Imodium. I wore a mask. I didn't use the restroom because by this point I was fully dehydrated and Imodium had changed things. But a woman next to me saw that I was suffering, and she offered me her neck pillow, and I still have it. And that act of kindness was so profound for me. I did find good people, and that helps me to remember that there are good people. But mostly my healing message has been that I am safe with me. And then the delight is taking the love and help from others. And I wonder if that's what people who didn't experience this kind of neglect have, where maybe you're safe with you. I hope you are. And then you get to experience the joy of having people who love you and with whom you're also safe. And if you don't have that for whatever reason, that's, I don't know about you, but that's my goal. It's figuring out that I am safe with me. And when I think about the fact that I truly am safe with me, I don't feel unsafe in any situation because yes, I mean, someone could harm me, but I am safe with me and I always will be until I die. And therefore that can't be taken from me.
I think that's great. That helps you lead to have a more adventurous life. Go and do and have fun, experience, explore because you can.
I can. And what I want you all to know is if something happens to me in that process of living an adventurous life and taking care of myself, I was doing what I wanted to do.
Right. Sure, that could happen anywhere, but you were living your life.
Anywhere at any time it could happen. And I think we think about death and grief so differently than I plan to. I am so sad when people leave my life because of what I miss of them. But that's part of it. And I just think that maybe if it was their choice, they're free to go on to what happens next. I read a comic once that said, do you believe in life after birth? Twins talking to each other in utero.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, do you believe in life after birth?
That's an interesting concept. Huh? Wow.
What do we know?
Right. Wow.
What do we know?
Right.
Babies, in utero have some awareness, right? And so, like, they're talking to each other. Do you believe in life after birth? We didn't know.
Right. Because in their situation, they don't know.
They didn't know.
They didn't know what was coming next.
And we don't know what comes next either. I know there are people with sincerely held beliefs, and I really hope that for you. But, I'm just not afraid anymore. And my life was dictated by fear.
Right.
And so even when I shit myself, I'm not afraid because I know exactly the steps to take, because I do the IRISN innately because that's how my brain works to keep me safe.
Yeah.
But then I turned that into a corporate strategy that has helped a Fortune 24 company achieve its financial goals.
Well, that makes me proud.
Thank you.
Your corporate days were something else from what I've heard. You've really done some amazing groundwork for people.
I have, and I would love to share more of that here. One thing I'm super proud of is my Dare to Lead work.
Right.
Dare to Lead is a Brene Brown book, and it's also a training course. And I participated in an 18-week training with the trained facilitator. And then I was able to train people on it as well. And I've taken 70 people through that program. It delves into shame and how shame shows up specifically in the workplace. But this training was more about how people live their lives. And I had many people come back to me after and say, this opened my eyes to understand myself and others.
Sure, I could see a lot of people that we know that would benefit from that.
I keep thinking about doing Dare to Lead, and I wonder if this podcast could be a place where we do it. But it really benefits you to be in a cohort with people that you can talk to and bounce ideas off each other. And so I'm torn about how to do it, but I have that extensive experience in training, and it was just an extra. My boss, Tammy, was eager to support people. And so she let me go and get training. It was like $1,500, and she paid for that training through our corporate funding. And then I brought that leadership training back, and every single people leader, manager and above in that organization went through that program. That was 70 people.
Oh, that's awesome. Good job, Jen.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you. Shout out to Tammy for agreeing with that and making it a priority, because it mattered, and how people live their lives should matter to employers. And it definitely did to Tammy. So
that's great.
Yeah. So, friends, that's just one story that I have about shitting myself. And it is not the one my sister told me not to tell.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that involved tossing of the bag. You felt guilty of tossing of the bag for many a year.
All right, Amy.
Yeah.
All right. Do I have to tell the story?
No.
Okay.
It's for another day. Stay tuned for another experience with Jen.
Oh my God. I don't think we're going to have shit your pants segments. I don't think that's going to be a thing.
There'll be a follow-up?
No.
Well, just know that there's a bag taken off by a raccoon somewhere into the woods, not far from here.
I felt bad that I threw the bag out of the window for years. And when I told the story to a small group of people, they were like, you did the right thing. Stop feeling bad about that.
Bless if you brought. Then I don't think you need the bag, and you should be happy that you fed a squirrel.
Oh my God.
That's just not right.
All I could think about was the street cleaner or
who grab the bags on the side of the road.
The volunteers, who adopted that part of the highway? I need to write them an apology letter.
I'm so sorry. I had to experience that.
I'll be like, so 6 years ago, before the unprecedented times,
those were some good times.
One thing that COVID did for me was keep me in the house more. So shitting of the pants decreased because I could usually make it.
Right.
So listen, you heard it here first, folks. You heard it here, folks. And I think this should go viral. I think you should all be sharing the hell out of this episode, because who else?
Yeah, Jen's got this. There's no shame. She wants to show you how you work through this.
Listen, I am embarrassed about this, but I'm definitely not ashamed of it. I am not even humiliated. I'm just embarrassed. But this is a body. And I've come to realize recently that I am separate from this body. This body is mine, but it's separate from my authentic self. And my job is to take care of it. And that day, this body needed me to stay home.
It did.
Yeah. So that's what they mean when they say, listen to your body. I heard this once, that I have thoughts, but I am not my thoughts. And I was like, well, if I'm not my thoughts, then what am I? Well, first of all, I have an arm, but I am not an arm.
True.
I have fat, but I am not fat.
Right.
I have thoughts, but I am not thoughts.
Interesting.
And so it's a way of separating yourself from your thoughts, because if you have bad thoughts, and everybody does, you may think you're bad because you have bad thoughts. But first of all, your first thought is what you've been indoctrinated with or what you've been taught. Conditioning, that's your first thought. Your second thought is your learning. And hopefully you've done your learning so that your second thought isn't hateful or bad. So your first thought is your conditioning. Your second thought is your learning. So make sure you're learning. But also, you are not your thoughts. You are an energy, an entity, a spirit, whatever you call it. And that spirit occupies a body that has a brain, that has thoughts, that has a gut, that has intuition. But that isn't you. It is your body. And so when they say listen to your body, if you were your body, you wouldn't have to listen to your body if it was all enmeshed or all combined. The thing is, these are all separate parts. And one part of meditation is to draw attention to your toes right now. Feel your toes. And I can actually feel my toes when I really think about it. But before I thought about it, I wasn't really aware. And so you have toes, but you're not toes. You have thoughts, but you're not thoughts.
Wow. That's a great perspective. I'd never heard that.
And hopefully the little lovelies in our family who might listen to this podcast sometimes realize that you're not your thoughts. And sometimes your thoughts are erratic and all over the place. And, sometimes your thoughts are that you're not good enough, or, that the world will be better without you. And you're not your thoughts. They are thoughts that belong to you. But again, your thought at first is what you've been conditioned to. So just because you were born here in this time and place, you have this conditioning. And your job, your responsibility as a human, is to learn things so that you have the next thought. And then if you really do a lot, you can self-actualize to where, you understand that yourself is separate from all of these things and, intact from start to finish.
And that's one to grow on.
That's one to grow on. Thank you for being my witness to this therapy session.
You're welcome. Looks like my work here is done.
That was awfully abrupt. Are you sure your work here is done?
My work here is done.
Amy is done, abrupt, mic drop.
Boom. Because we have more work to do that involves the gym.
We're going to go pump some iron.
Yeah. So that's where we're headed.
Because I'm pretty powerful.
Look at that.
Pretty powerful.
Statement piece.
Yep. I'm going to go smoke a little.
Yep.
Doobie.
And then we're going to throw down some iron.
Going to go pump some iron, throw down a little bit, hang out. It's the weekend.
And then we could go to the candle shop and get a refill.
We'll go to the candle shop and get a refill. It's the weekend. We've got some fun plans coming up. And I don't know about you, Amy, but I just could not be happier.
Me too. And I'm home now.
Amy's back home. Yeah. We're happy about that. Oliver is safe. We're happy about that.
Yes.
And hey, if you have a poop story that you would like to share, you go ahead and email badkittypodcast@gmail.com and let us know, and maybe we'll share your story. If you want to leave some comments and let us know.
Anonymously.
If you would like to be anonymous, you just say or anonymous.
Like initials. Whatever you want.
You could also record a video and we could splice it into the podcast if you want to tell your story. That would be funny.
We're all human.
We're all humans and everybody poops. I read it in a book once.
I did. I was thinking about bringing that book. But here we are. Go check it out for yourself.
Everybody poops. Now farting, that's a different story. You need to keep that shit to yourself. You know what, Amy? Yeah. I think it's time.
Okay, my work really is done here. Now off we go.
Cheers, folks.
Bye.
Have a good one.
We cute.